Okay, good morning. It's 10:01.
Lord, we pray for our country. We pray for healing of this tremendous disease that has fallen over our country like a dark cloud. And we know that you're the great physician and you're the ones that can provide it. Lord, we also appreciate the many positive things that have happened. We are turning the corner. We are seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. We know that's because of your guidance and your support. Lord, we just ask that you would protect our county family, those that are suffering, and those that have lost loved ones. We'd ask that you would protect our first responders as they go about their daily routine and send them home safely. And Lord, we just ask that you would protect our military personnel as they serve locally and also abroad. Lord, bless this country, bless this state, bless this county, and bless us today in the decisions that we make. We ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Y'all join in pledge. I
Pledge
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Texas City Police. Well, I think we probably better enjoy the day's weather. It
I
doesn't
think
look
so.
at all.
It's February, Judge.
Yes, sir.
So it's that
Well,
way.
we've been before.
Yes.
Okay, we have no presentations. I'd ask at this time, is there any public comment to be made? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'd ask the court to take action on that, or ask for clarification, or bring any items down.
Just briefly mention item 16, it's the motion to approve signature on IOCC for LEC number 172. It's a large expenditure, it comes out of contractor contingencies, but Judge, this is the one that you're very aware of, the UUKL, which is essentially the main brain that controls all of the smoke ventilation, interacting with the alarm controls, everything. There was some disconnect as to which trade we're supposed to pick that particular piece of equipment up. So we've been down a long, arduous road to get it to this point. Again, it's coming out of contractor contingencies, but I wanted everybody to be aware of what that cost was. The building simply does not open without this piece of equipment. It's the brain.
For a major segment of life safety.
Yeah, it is the life safety piece of equipment.
Right.
But we're very pleased to get over that hurdle finally after, well, at least 5 months of back and forth of who it belongs to.
Thanks for all your effort on that.
Motion to approve, Judge.
I'll second.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, motion by Commissioner Waller, second by Commissioner Buchanan to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item number 1 is to review and approve the regular bills for payment.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second.
Any questions or comments on any of the bills?
Wish they were less.
A lot of them.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Bateman, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the bill as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item number Number 2 is receive a presentation by Ms. Vicki Payne, Executive Director of Southern Bridge Advocacy, on collaboration on a grant for innovative ways to combat human trafficking. All right, Ms. Payne, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can hear you. Good to see you this
Okay.
morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about this. So we are 1 year old. We just completed 1 year. We're getting our systems into place, champion prevention education in Texas public schools. And now we are ready to put boots on the ground and help youth serving organizations, schools, businesses implement prevention education. It's personal safety for younger students, and then the older students, middle school and high school, would definitely introduce human trafficking, that term, and explain to them what it is. There are different prevention curricula, so we have an education committee that identified 9 prevention curricula and reviewed it for different grade levels. And so we put that into a chart. We've shared it with Region 9, with WFISD, and some other organizations, and we would like to help the county address commercial sexual exploitation through prevention. And I think we're poised in the perfect place for it. This funding opportunity has to come through the county. And if you see on our budget, we don't have the capacity without your help at this point to keep moving forward. So we would really like to have your help. It's due February 11th. I gave you the prevention project budget, which is $105,687 for the time of the grant period, October 21 to September 22. I think you've seen in the news lately the need for this type of education. So the prevention education actually empowers students to recognize when someone is trying to groom them or recruit them, when it's happening to them or to someone else, and to protect themselves and maybe to intervene to keep it from happening to one of their friends. We are a community education partner with National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, nicknamed NCMEC. They're free resources. They're free for everybody, but we've been trained on it. We've got volunteers that are trained. We are planning to hire part-time staff to get trained on it, and that's just one resource that everybody can use. There's some others that we really like. The Empowered Youth Program through I Empathize, that teaches students to have empathy over apathy. And that would be great for the juvenile justice system, along with the NCMEC resources. And then there's another one, Richmond Justice Initiative has a module that connects pornography to trafficking and assault, and that the other prevention curricula that we looked at did not have that module. So that would be good in churches and other venues. So an organization, some of the prevention curricula require licensing, and so we want to have the capacity to pay a licensing fee for those organizations if they can't pay it for themselves. And so that's why there's licensing fees in there. NCMEC is free, there's no licensing fee for that. Do you have any questions?
Vicki, I see the personnel involved in this. You all will be the sub-grantee, and therefore everyone on payroll is on your all's payroll. Is that correct?
Well, we actually are contracting with my staff, and they're handling that.
Okay, but they're not going to be county employees. They're going to be your employees.
They're not county employees, that would be part-time employees of us, and then we have the biggest one would be a social worker that we would bring on board. I will tell you that I am donating my services through the next year for sure.
Okay.
So my there's no salary in there for the executive director.
Well, thank you, that's a generous thing.
And then there's a breakdown on page 2 of the budget. So if you look at IDA, that's the same person, so it's broken down to 2021, and next year, B is the same person, or the same position. It's broken down over the 2 different years, and same thing with C and D. And then we've got technology equipment, technology support, the prevention, education, and media campaign. We've already started that. We started that in November with TV and radio spots using NCMEC resources to educate young children how to protect themselves. So if an adult asks you to do something, you go check first with your trusted adult. That's one of the things we've done. So we will continue to use their resources and put them out there on the media. And media's generous to partner with us and provide some spots for free, but they, of course, cannot provide all of their spots for free. So we purchase some and we get some matched. And that's what that is.
And this grant is a 100% grant, not any, like 80-20 or,
It says it's minimum level 10,000, no match required. It says there's no maximum. Minimum grant amount's 10,000. It is through the governor's office, Texas Governor Abbott, Public Safety Office, Criminal Justice Division. The child sex trafficking team, I think, will be one of the ones that reviews it. So I understand that it's a reimbursement, that we would be we would be paying for the expenses first and submitting invoices to the county for reimbursement. That's my understanding after talking to your office.
okay. So, you all would bill us, you've already paid my staff, let's say, for the people involved, then we submit that to the state, to the governor's office to get paid, and then we reimburse you all. Is that the way you're looking at that?
I didn't understand exactly, but what I think is we asked for $105,687 from the governor's office for this project, and then the county manages it, you know, you hold it, and we submit invoices for the expenditures as they've done. And then the county, of course, the public safety office, you know, they can allow some of it, all of it, or none of it. We don't know what they will do. Because we are new, you know, we don't have a history to show for them. But the county's not new. The county has a good reputation for being able to manage funds.
Okay. So we're gonna receive the money before we expend. They're gonna give you, it's your understanding that they're gonna give us the $105,000 if they approve that. Then we're gonna reimburse you all, then we'll have to report back to them, I would imagine.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
So let me understand this. You're gonna receive a check from the state for 105 and some change, and we're gonna forward that to this group.
As they draw it though. That's what I'm.
So we're,
And on top of Barry's question, what about if they only fund us $10,000?
If they only fund 10,000, is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, we'll use it.
Use every penny you can get, right?
But the way I understood what they were saying is we're gonna have funding up front before we start doing any disbursement. So if they only fund 10,000, then it's not like we've already spent 30 on draws. We're only gonna fund what we had set aside, so that's what I was.
We don't get any money from the county unless you get the money from the, from this grant. Is that the question?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, we'll be happy to apply for it, but, no, you would get the grant first. and
Will this be-
manage it, and then we would submit invoices.
Will this be something the auditor's office would administer?
Right.
And are they, did we discuss this with,
Well, there's our grant
I would
manager.
think it'd be auditor and treasurer,
And
it's like the
treasurer.
LPPF funds,
okay?
yeah.
I
So,
mean, maybe that's something we need to do some research on.
so the invoices would have, they would have to be, they'd have to qualify. You
Right.
they couldn't just invoice anything, so there would be some
The ti-
management of
The
it.
timesheets
So
can be
come right through you
qualified
guys.
through,
Yeah,
Every time.
the timesheets can be qualified through my staff.
right,
There's not a whole lot of time for research, this is due February 11th.
okay.
I see. Well, I was just curious, I mean, if we're gonna
Let me
involve the
tell you this.
auditor and the
The
treasurer's
danger in
office.
not doing anything is you're gonna see more incidences like we just saw in the news.
Well, but,
It's been going on, but it's very hidden.
well, I'm working on the mechanics, not the, you know, you know, the need,
Yeah, I
that's
think
not.
we
where
all
we are.
agree that there's a big need, it's just
Yeah,
make sure we know how to.
Just gotta make sure the
My point is-
funding side of it's right.
This is gonna involve the auditor's office and the treasurer's office. Have we discussed this with them? Is there any questions? Is our legal staff good with it? Does it all fit and qualify? I mean, we need to have all those boxes checked, I would
Well,
think.
this just came about last week with the
Yeah.
deadline of the 11th to submit it.
That's pretty close.
Okay,
Yeah,
but that won't be awarded that quickly.
Okay,
And prior to the award of it, we'll have to come back probably and issue a resolution saying that we will do that and administer it, and we can check out. I'm sure Chris is fairly familiar with, you know, what it takes to submit, but the
yeah,
items that we're talking about paying for, that are listed here, that's pretty straightforward. We have time
Yeah.
sheets and invoices to cover all of that.
well, it's straightforward for you and me, Judge, but we're not doing it.
No, but
That's my point.
It's what I was gonna say, that, we can certainly give them a chance to look at it, but there's normally like a 5% fee in there, to help cover any expense.
Once again, I'm not arguing the need for the program, it's just the mechanics of it. It seems like that we're assuming a lot of things, and I don't know that we've checked off all of our boxes as to,
is this
Moving
one we
forward.
pass pending further review?
that was gonna be my next question, can we?
Well, there's not even action on it this morning.
Oh,
Okay, okay.
do we not have to take action before the 11th? This would
We
be,
can go ahead and submit it, but you still have the time that after, if they fund it, you still have a moment to turn that down. If our research leads us to believe this is too much of a task to do it.
Well, if
So-
that be the case, then let's,
So all-
say we move forward.
You're just wanting a motion then to move forward.
Need a motion.
We don't need a motion at all, just an agreement to
it's
move forward.
not actionable on the way it's written, so.
But there's a number of these we'll submit sometimes. We've never turned one down, but we go ahead and get them in. I will sign them, go ahead and make the application. It's not the approval until they give us the grant and then we accept the grant.
Okay.
You know, it's,
All right,
we've got a process there.
there's some moving parts there that need to be,
Yeah, I mean,
Hashed
I want all that, you know, our legal counsel to sign off on it and all that. I just don't think we need to assume that all this is gonna be taken care of until we. I
Sounds
say,
like a great program.
Oh, I do too, let's check the boxes
Fantastic
off though,
program,
you know, for the mechanics of it. I guess my only question for it would be, do we have anything written into this program that's going to track effectiveness? What's the plan for tracking?
Anything written into the program, what?
Anything to track the effectiveness of the program moving forward?
see some results in the money spent.
Yeah,
Advocacy.
and I think that's a consideration we often overlook when we start out on these, and not to pick on you, I think we expect that of everything that is going on there. I mean, what is the plan to, how do we know a year from now if we've had any impact?
Some of the curriculum have pre-test and post-test, so you pre-test the student before you do the training, and then you do a post-test to see if they learned anything new. I don't think NICMIC has that, but that's certainly something we could, initiate.
In the
What we
reporting,
doing?
in the reporting requirements of the grant, will we see the number of students reached, et cetera? Will that information be given back to Commissioners Court at the end of this
The number
program?
of students would be tracked, I
Yeah,
will tell you, our goal with the NICMIC is to reach 2,500 students, but that's across the whole Region 9 area
okay.
in this
But-
year.
but-
That's this year, so that would be before the end of December of this year.
So it's not a county-wide program, it's an area-wide program.
Well, right now, we're focusing on Wichita County with this grant.
Okay.
So yes, we want our service area to be the Nortex Regional Planning Commission area. And so we're hosting trainings, and that brings in people from other counties. We've got a training for healthcare professionals scheduled February 17th at Region 9. That'll bring in people from other counties. Right now, the prevention project that I presented is just for Wichita County.
Okay.
Will this coordinate in any way with the efforts of our district attorney's office, who have also working on similar situations? I mean, is there any connection, or?
The way I take it, this is mostly an educational
Educational component, just
component to
preventative.
educate,
It's a preventative.
just,
Right.
Right, preventative, this is not investigations, it's preventative, and in the education, when you're teaching, raising awareness and training adults and students, you're teaching them how to recognize it and report it. We do have a National Human Trafficking Hotline that anybody can report to. The fastest way to get help is, of course, call 911 in an emergency, always want to call 911 for that. So, that's part of the education. If you recognize it or you suspect it, report it. We don't do investigations, law enforcement does that. So we're on the prevention side in education.
So this would be presented at schools, and we would be able to get a report as to what schools, what students were reached at the end of the program.
You can have periodic reports, yes.
Okay,
Well, that's good,
I think I would like to see that.
yeah.
Anything else?
Answered my question.
Vicki, I have one final question. The definition, your definition to me of human trafficking is what?
Well, human trafficking is modern day slavery for exploitation of a person for sex or labor. This funding project is only addressing the commercial sexual exploitation. It's not addressing labor. However, when we educate adults, we're educating on both sex and labor. And when you're educating those students, you're telling them that labor trafficking is part of that. But this one is really just focusing on the commercial sexual exploitation.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, if you will get everything together and get it in here, we'll get it processed and get it out. The application and all, I think you're already working on that.
Well, it's my understanding that I need to go through, is it Chris with the county in the grants office?
Right.
Yes.
That I need to work with him because he's the one that has to submit it. It'll have to be, you got the county going on their e-grant system.
Right, but you're gonna fill in the blanks and then he's gonna submit it.
Yes, I'll have to work with him from a distance. My husband's tested positive for COVID, so I'm in quarantine with him. But yes, I can work with him from a, from a
Chris
distance.
has already had it, so he's good.
Ow! Now he just busted his head open too, so we'll have to call an ambulance.
For Rod?
Yeah, no, we'll all work that out, we'll get that done. I guess you have the ability to scan and email things to him and, that kind of thing.
Were you talking to me?
Yes, ma'am. I
What
said
did
you
you
have
say?
the ability to scan and email things to him?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
And talk to him on the phone and FaceTime, Zoom call, whatever we need to do.
Okay. All right, anything else?
But the key thing is this is county county innovation, so, you know, it doesn't have to have already been in existence somewhere else. And I think Wichita County is positioned for this because that's what we're here for. And that's what we've been spending a year on getting ready for.
Well,
So
I think,
we
it's
had two
certainly-
people from WFISD on our education committee. We still have one this year on it. So we've been able to help them with, looking at curriculum. They've connected, Region 9 is the, point person for the schools in this area for human trafficking. They have our curriculum charts that we'll be able to provide technical assistance for schools, anybody that wants technical assistance. There is, on the curriculum chart, there's the Protect Texas on page 2, for page, I think it's page 3, for 3 strands, global. They have offered free training to schools, superintendents, educators, school boards, principals, for free through the end of February on that program. And that's one of the ones that WFISD is looking at implementing, but that might not be the only one they're looking at implementing. So we have training scheduled for NCMEC coming up again, and I think one of the WFISD employees is going to participate in that training. The University of Arizona created Project Starfish, Arizona State University. It is free. It has lesson plans that will fit into core subjects. And so if y'all just think about how you're a little overwhelmed looking at this, think about school districts, how overwhelmed they were, and they might still be, in trying to pick out curriculum for their students on human trafficking when they're just now learning about it, they're just now getting educated on it. So we brought it to a manageable chart to let people know, okay, here's what this is, here's the target age for it, here's the training, how long the training takes, what the cost is, and how you can access it. So just because we are doing prevention education doesn't mean we're going to be the ones in the classroom teaching it. We're going to help people implement it if they need our help. We'll provide technical assistance. And we will have part-time people that will be teaching it, and volunteers. Does that answer more questions?
right. Let me give you Chris's email address.
What is my present email address?
Yeah, Chris's, let me give it to you.
It's B Payne, B like.
No. I want to give you Chris's address.
Oh, you're gonna give me Chris's?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm ready.
Okay, it's Chris, CHRIS, dot Harris, HARRIS, at co.wichita.tx.us, just like mine and the others.
Okay. Thank you.
And his phone number is 766-8138 is the main number.
He likes to be called after 10 o'clock at night.
All right,
8138?
8138,
Okay, thank you.
all right. That is a direct in, and they'll transfer you to his,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you, this worked out well. Hope Roger's feeling better.
Well, so, I don't guess I heard, what did y'all decide?
Well, it's not posted as an action item because we haven't been awarded. Once the award comes back, then we'll do an action item to accept it and do the other paperwork. But I will go ahead and sign it, taking the application.
Okay, thank you so much, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Okay, item number 3 is discuss consider take action to allow fund transfers in lieu of credit card payments for title and tag work for county-owned vehicles. Mr. Dixon?
Yeah, Judge, it's been the practice in the past couple of years when we do titles, et cetera, that we would check out a credit card and use the credit card to pay for those transactions, which make us incur convenience fee, et cetera, on those cards. In talking with both the auditor's office and the tax office, I think the two of them will come up with a better plan. I believe somebody from the tax office is on, and we have auditor's office here if they want to speak to how we're going to handle these transfers.
So the process will be similar in terms of, we'll still get the bills for the inspections or the title work from y'all, or sheriff, whoever has the vehicle. And what we'll do is we'll take down the paperwork to tax office. They have this draft form. So the bill will still come to y'all to approve on every Monday morning, but whenever the bill gets approved, they'll put in this wire request to the treasurer's office, and it'll just go that way rather than the treasurer writing a check or transferring the money through a wire transfer from them, so.
Well, Matt, will it have to involve any of the title or the tag paperwork with this form, or is it just this form?
Just this form, they'll already have that paperwork, so
Okay.
everything will be ready to go, and we'll just,
We'll sign off on this
Yeah.
form when we, in lieu of payment.
yes,
You know,
sir.
this is just a way to avoid all those convenience fees on the cards. I mean, it's a couple of dollars, but a couple of dollars multiple, in the multiples of the vehicles that we
Yeah.
have, it adds up, so.
Now, Matt, we don't use currently our cards for anything but that.
Correct, we issue those credit cards for that purpose, for that should.
And that's worked well.
And that's
Well,
Yeah.
it works well, but
Yeah.
why pay the convenience fee when we
Yeah.
can just transfer it on paper?
Sure.
Yeah.
In-house,
Kind of the same process, just we're gonna
cut out the card.
That's worked so much better than we used to have to chase down a check and back and forth, and it's a much more efficient way, so.
You're still gonna need the credit card for inspections, aren't you?
In some instances.
Yeah.
And some's
Yeah,
done
see,
it.
we've just been billing them, man, I don't know, and just approving them as the regular bills. Is that still the way to do it, or should we do it?
Yeah, for the outside inspection, yes. sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this was just to cover the transactions for title work.
Yeah,
So,
finally.
the
Title worker
office.
tags.
Yeah.
We've kind of finally got our stuff where we go do it in about a week's time.
Yeah.
Get everything done, and it sure works better that way. Get them all on track, and you don't have one now and one 6 weeks later, and one, that's when you really get messed up, so. Very good.
So you don't need the credit cards anymore or not?
You'll still need them
Well,
for the
I say leave
inspection.
the cards in place until, well, especially just like if the instance arises for inspection expense or something like that.
But I think this is to do away with the cards, isn't it?
No, this is just to change that process
Okay,
in,
all right.
in the tax
Save
office.
some fees that are
Save some
involved.
fees that are unnecessary.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know that it necessarily needed an action item, but
Does it, Matt, and I don't understand, I know, and Kenny and Tommy is typically who we go to with our questions, but when we take this form in, we won't mess up their flow by checking out at the end of the day, right?
No, sir, this was actually, they'll already have all the paperwork, so this will just be saying, okay, this is gonna come through on Monday, just they'll wire transfer it in, so.
Okay,
Everything should be a little bit more straight and streamlined as far as all that's concerned.
okay.
just an avoidance of fees. So,
It's still probably not the same amount of paperwork.
same amount of paper, just avoidance of the convenience fees to the credit card company that's really unnecessary when all we gotta do is take a piece of paper upstairs. So,
I'm not sure, I'm like you, I don't
no,
know
it's
if the action
actually
needed
just,
on that.
I just wanted to make the court aware and
You know, as long as we've got a place that'll do our inspections and bill us, and as long as you've got that, then that works. We don't have to take
Okay.
funds
Thank you all.
out there. Yeah.
Appreciate everyone's effort to get that taken care of.
Okay.
Mr. Hampton, you're up.
All right, sir. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I've got some tickets to the Super Bowl and I'm selling for half price today. You got your end of the month report, I presume, on your desk?
Yes.
For those of you that have any questions, the best question gets an 8x10 glossy of Torrance Halsey. Brand new photographer here in Mustafa.
I've got one. Did the Cowboys win the Super Bowl?
They were close.
Okay.
Almost there.
They were close.
Thought they did.
We've got, relatively speaking, which I like to do in 12-month terms. This is the end of the month for January 2020. We do have some pretty good news because we're ahead of where we were
Yay.
this time last year. And there you are, Willie. Did I give you two?
Interest income was sure better last year.
And also, that's 20, out there, 2020. And then this is an example of what I got offered to me at Co-America on Friday, which gives you an idea of where we are investment-wise. Along with this same, here's also a list of, and I know you're saying, listen, that's what we got you hired for, to hustle these numbers, but it's really important to understand
Is
kind of
that
where we are financially.
Is that a full percent, Bob? A whole percent?
Look at the term though,
Wow, yeah, only 7.5 years.
and
A full
it's pretty
percent.
long. Let's see, Willie, did I give you one of these?
I've got
Did everybody get? So, the good news is, general fund wise, you see the two numbers there at the bottom of both pages on that first page. And, that's a pretty significant number. A little over 5 million. And, but you can also see in the investment portion where it says total government agencies and total certificates of deposits, we're probably going to be pretty much out of the investment business in those two categories by the end of March, as far as getting anything of significant nature. I will brag on American National Bank. They've been very helpful. And we're also involved with First National Bank and also First United Bank. So our local banks have really stepped up to look after the people of Wichita County. So if you're thinking this is an advertising plug, you're probably right. But, and Texoma Community Credit Union, John and his staff, they've been very helpful and also loaned us that money, you know, that we're paying on. Yeah. That sheet from Co-America that I usually use to buy agency paper, just like Commissioner Mahler said, 5 years, 5-year paper is 0.5 right now. And 7.5 years jump up there to a whole 1%. So what it basically boils down to is somebody has to be talking about our national debt.
They are adding on to it.
And we really need to start sending some financial people to Washington DC. So, and how we do that is we start talking about it. I don't care what party you're part of. I mean, it's weird to me that everybody votes in a block here and votes in a block there, when we as a state send people up there to represent us. It's a mystery to me. But we better start doing something right. And you're saying, well, what's the deal here? I keep a running tack on the market. Friday, the Dow closed at 31,148. A year ago, it closed at 28,703. That's an 8.5% increase. S&P closed Friday at 38.86. A year ago, it closed at 32.46. That's 19.7% increase. But boy, oh boy, NASDAQ, the Dow, of course, is 30 companies, the largest here in the United States. Used to be a pretty good barometer on where we were financially as far as the economy. The S&P is 500 of our largest companies, including, when you have, the way you figure that is your stock, number of shares, stock price, that jumps you to 500 companies, the S&P. Well, NASDAQ, usually referred to as small companies, closed Friday at 13,856. When I was a broker 20 some odd years ago, the NASDAQ was less than the S&P 500. Now it's 13,856. A year ago it closed at 971. That's a 52.5% increase.
Those are scary numbers.
Yeah, it is. Oil closed Friday at 57.07 a barrel. A year ago, it was $62.83 a barrel.
And what was it yesterday? Or
Friday, 57.07. But Commissioner, when you close out a pipeline and shut down fracking, we're fixing to see some unbelievable gas prices. And 10-year Treasury closed Friday at 1.17. And a year ago, it was 1.8. So that's where we are.
Okay, now you said when we closed down the construction of the pipeline, correct?
Yes,
It's
we
not-
did. Yes,
It's
we
not delivering anything right now.
No.
But that same effort that wants to close it down because their fear of hydrocarbons is now going to continue the trucking and railroad movement of all they do.
That oil's still gonna come here, it's just gonna come via truck and via train,
Yeah.
which is gonna be,
And just
Higher
because-
freight rate, yeah.
And just,
Higher.
I know we're being recorded, just because Warren Buffett is a big stockholder in trains has nothing to do with it, I'm sure.
yep.
But those are the kind of conversations we gotta start having, you know? We gotta start talking realistically.
Bob, not to look at the experts, in your opinion, you watch this closely. What do you think our inflation rate is right now? Just
I think it's more tremendous than you think it is.
do too.
Yeah.
Well,
For
here's
those of
what,
us that do their own grocery shopping.
here's what I'm observing. Increase in the price of steel, increase in the price of oil, lumber,
Lumber is through the roof.
Times the roof. Almost times 5, you bet.
cotton market's at 80 cents, wheat market's going up, corn market's going up, the commodities, all of them. I think our inflation, and we're sitting here looking at return on money from 0.5% to 1%, and we're probably looking at 3% inflation
or more.
or more.
I noticed Commissioner Mueller and I use a certain product in the grocery store, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And it was a name brand canned good, and so then I saw they replaced it with a variety of non-name brand, but the cost was high as the name brand.
And just for the record, it's not Budweiser.
No, it's a tomato paste.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I was just blown away that even though we lost the name brand that we were used to using, or it got too high, and so they replaced it with the non-name high.
Well, this inflation's gonna be cruel to us, Bob. One of the things that we've noticed just talking among the commissioners, and I think the inflation rate in the things that we do out in the precinct is up higher than that. Our sealant oil continues to go up. Put a set of batteries in a motor grader today and tell me what that experience is like.
Tires.
Tires, all those
Oh, my
things that we
heavens.
use
Tires
have
we use
gone
a lot.
up tremendously. I made the statement the other day, my little clicker for my truck, the batteries went out, and it cost me as much to put batteries in my clicker as it used to put a battery in the truck. I mean, it scares me, because we've got things to do, and we've got to move forward, and we've got to take care of business. And I just afraid this inflation deal's gonna eat us. And, boy, and if you're a retiree right now, and you're planning on stretching out your retirement income, you're being dealt a brutal blow. This stuff is, there's a lot of people that are, consuming the balance rather than living off the interest. And that's really unfair to people that really planned and thought they had a good plan in place, and it's really cruel to a lot of our seniors. It's a bad deal.
Well, I think all 7 or 8 of us are on the same page. I'm just trying to figure out what page
That is.
our people are up.
Yeah, because we gotta keep the wheels turning around here. That's the problem.
On the last page of your, this end of the January statement is your jail expenditures. Right now, we spent $63,320,439, and this morning, we've got $8 million still in the bank, so.
8 or 6, Bob? Or maybe some of those haven't went out. I was seeing the total of 6,126,000. Am I looking at the wrong number?
No, you're looking at the right number. Let me make sure that no, on page 5. See, right now it shows 9.6 million, we're down to 8 change.
Oh, okay, I see where you're looking.
Yeah.
What
Now-
are you looking at?
Well, on the very back page, Bob, page 9 of 10, is that just a subtotal for that page?
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, got you.
I'm on page 5, and I'll show you where,
Right here?
yeah. That's it.
Okay. So if I take this number and add it with this number, that would be the total proceeds with interest?
Yes, sir. So we made money, what we had. So,
Bob,
not bad now.
on the precinct breakout, just so I completely understand, the line there that says gold,
Yes, sir.
American National Bank, it says coupon 0.45%. What does that mean?
That is
That's the interest rate.
That's your interest rate on that particular vehicle.
Okay.
For
What I
example,
thought.
there's 3 vehicles there in the precinct 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit picking on precinct 1, by the way, Judge.
Pick on him, he's got the best fund balance.
Well, you can pick on me for who.
I
has
id
the
my
most
tires
money.
cut last week. I don't wanna mention any names.
Tires
But,
Well, we can just look at who has the most money in their
But,
account.
I'm trying to catch
anyway,
you.
we're,
Mark, that's a good and bad thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That makes you a target.
That's right.
But American National's been a great partner, so,
Mhm, you bet.
Who was that again, Senator Partner?
American National,
American National, okay.
been a big, our banking depository.
Right.
Bob, how does, and Matt, you're here as well too, how does, like Mickey check, that is a large swing from year over year, knowing what our knowing what our budgeted amounts are within a precinct. So, for example, if I had $1 million in my precinct, Mickey would have had to, under this scenario, only spend half of that in order to save the other half to pull his balance to what it is right now. You follow me?
Well, yeah, I'm following you. What is your question?
Well, there is a great big swing between last year and this year at Precinct 2 in balance. And the only way it can get there is by not spending it out of the budgeted dollars. But he doesn't have that large of a budget that he could only pay half of it and put half of it in the piggy bank, because he's still got to meet payroll and buy supplies and road material and stuff. And so that's what it grew $600,000 is my.
Well, they all grew though, Commissioner, because of the monies that were taken in tax-wise. So,
But the budget
Yeah.
shouldn't substantially grow fund balance.
no, the budget just gives us a snapshot.
Substantially being, you know, it will, I guess, you know, a little variation, but.
Main difference, Jeff, was that precinct 2 got more tax money than precinct 4.
Oh, that's right, okay. Okay,
Confusion.
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
And it was managed fine.
But Matt and Chris, they've been a pleasure to work with, and, well, anyway, Matt has. But anyway, they kind of guide me, you know, we are fixing to get into a brand-new financial package. And we'll be able to monitor the precincts. Yeah, hallelujah. Yeah. When I
We
was
might
elec-
actually
when
be
I was
able to-
elected in 2004, Commissioner, they said the first thing we're doing is getting a brand-new financial
Sure,
package.
so
So
here
don't
we
worry
are.
about,
Here
don't
we
worry about learning TSG.
Yeah.
Well, I took them for their word.
Yeah.
And, but luckily, we'll be getting off this 57 Chevrolet pretty quick. And,
Easy now, that was a pretty good model,
and,
pretty good ride.
as a matter of fact, a friend of mine sent me a copy of what's one selling for in Fort Worth right now, Commissioner, you'd be shocked. So it is, it's, between the auditor's office and my office, we kind of keep a running total on what you guys have in your bank accounts, plus your expenditures. So that's one of the jobs of a treasurer, is not only the investment part, but also maintaining that liquidity, Commissioner. So your point is well taken. The money's got to be there when you spend it. So that's,
Cash flow.
you know, that we could load up with 10 and 12-year paper, and that's how, of course, the Public Funds Investment Act got started, because of Orange County, California, but that's the left coast for
Fell
you.
off that same ledge.
So what, sir?
Tom Green County took a pretty big dive off that ledge.
Yeah, they learned that though from that gentleman that came in and did he was not a treasurer though, Judge, I want to tell you. He was not, Orange County, they used a financial advisor,
Right.
so.
But I'm talking about Tom Green County.
Yeah, and then they came in and he was a hero, because see, when interest rates are going down and you're buying at the top, you know, you can sell out, or let me get conversely, as
Yeah.
interest rates go up, you can sell out here at the bottom, see, and buy in. But when the interest rates flip and start going down like they are now, you get hung with long-term paper, you had to sell out of the discount, and Orange County had to declare bankruptcy.
Bob, I just want one phone call. I want you to call me and tell me when to get short. There's gonna be a time. There's gonna be a time.
Well, I don't have my Series 7 anymore, Commissioner, so I don't get financial advice,
All
but
right.
But you didn't buy us any
this is pretty
GameStop.
scary when you got a market that's 52% up.
There's gonna be a time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Anything else?
Okay, ready for an LEC update?
Well, since Linda's still here with us, and she stayed all this time, I'll let Linda speak.
Let's see, where to start. They still have a few items in Area A that we're working through the punch list on. They have got most of the critical items done. I think there's one or two little things that they're still hanging out here.
Finally did water fountain. Or
Finally
finally
got the
doing water fountains.
That's right. Finally got the water fountains fixed. Oh, and gun lockers.
And
There's
gun
no
lockers.
holes in the hallways.
We have
so-
fewer holes in the wall.
Right. Then, as far as the jail portion goes, they've pretty much completed and they've started testing areas, starting at the south and working towards the north. What we call Area I and G are pretty much complete. And we're starting punch lists, preliminary, my tongue just twirled all around that. Preliminary punch lists on like the cells and things like that will be very difficult to get in and fix later if necessary. So they've got all that going.
Do we
They've come
have-
up through into C.
Do we have a walk scheduled this week? First walk?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I don't have it on my calendar, I just,
I don't have one on my phone.
okay.
They're coming up all the way up into C. They've got most of the area around the visitation area now, coming backwards from B going. They're starting they've started all the shower work. They've taken all the high stepping showers out. Just thinking, you know, how much athletic too soon.
They're just waiting on floor drains.
We're waiting on floor drains, so they're getting that work done. So they're actually moving a lot faster than what I thought that they would be able to on the showers. It truly is down to, they dropped ceiling tiles in the majority of the areas and the corners of I, F, H, G, coming on up into E, and now they're up into C with doing those in the hallways. They finished up all of the, to my understanding, they finished up all the wiring above ceiling conduits and wiring now. It's down to finish work. Now, mind you, when they get finished, there will still be a long process of getting all the testing. They're doing some testing, but that won't be the jail commission's testing. Once the jail commission comes, it is my understanding that it can take as much as 3 weeks to a month to get all of that complete. So it's going to be a long.
Well, they do their own form of walkthrough.
Yes, very, very detailed checks of all kinds of stuff. There's pages and pages of a checklist.
Glenda, Mark had mentioned to us last week about correcting a pinch point. With all the cells, did that occur within?
That did not occur in all the cells. It was a variety of locations, and it depended really more than anything else what type of cell. You know, we've got some that are higher security type areas, and then you've got 24-man pods. You've got 48, 64, 72, I think. There's a big variety, and so depending upon the configuration in the pod is where the railing for the upper, especially only if it had the upper mezzanine areas. If it had those upper mezzanine areas, where that final depending upon how big they were and all that sort of stuff, is where that final pole came down up against a wall. So there's a pole holding up the mezzanine, and it's up against a masonry wall.
I see.
And how far out that pole ended up being from the wall is what determined whether there was a pinch point
I
there or
see.
not. Some of them were minuscule that you couldn't get an arm in between.
Right.
And some of them were up to like 8 inches.
I see.
And
Get ahead.
someone much skinnier than me could have.
Yeah, there were some you could have got a head through, or some
Yeah.
arms, legs, it looked like it was an unsafe situation, so rather than deal with it down the road, we fixed it now.
Right. It was not something that the jail commission called out, but it was something that we looked at here
That way the
locally and
pain
said,
will
nah,
match.
that's just not a
Yeah.
good
No,
idea.
That's why we walk it so many
Right.
times, so we want to make sure that when the jail commission does come, that we've checked all the boxes. So,
It would be a major moment if they didn't find something, but we would love to be the first one that they find it. They just pass right.
Well, it's just like anything you're familiar with and you're in every day, you can walk by something every day and never notice it.
Right.
And
notice it.
somebody walked through it the first time and said, well, you know, what's this about? Yeah, yeah. Amazing how that
Or
happens.
the 10th time you've walked past it, you go, when did that get there?
Yeah.
You know,
one of the things I will bring the court up to speed on is I'm not happy with the landscaping, and I've visited with our contractors about it. I would call it no landscaping. Call it what? No landscaping at all.
The little plants get back.
Yeah, zero scape, we'll call it. It's not what I believe we paid for. All I've heard so far is we'll address it when it comes springtime. But it leaves a lot to be desired, and particularly since we took all the plants off the backside of the building to move them to the front. We took all the big trees and everything out and substituted it for smaller plants. The number of plantings that we have is insufficient.
Is there a city tree requirement on that
There
property?
is a city tree
There is,
requirement.
and you can substitute X number, and when we had the original drawings, they were all with tree count, and we got it approved through the city to substitute X number of shrubs for one tree, and there's calculations that you have to do. And we've gone through all of that, and with this particular landscape around the Metroplex, they're just being a little bit difficult to work with, but we'll get it there. Unfortunately, you know, we have to go through the contractor has to deal with them first, so.
Is our drainage working like we want it?
Drainage
As
is
far as you
working.
can tell?
There's no drainage problem. It's-
That's good. Well, when we started on that site, we realized that, you know, there was certainly some things that have to be addressed, and I guess.
Oh, we addressed them, there's
No,
a huge
yeah.
holding tank and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say this, from the start of the project, once they established the stormwater holding facility and the storm sewers out there, it kept water off that site.
That's good.
We've gone through several big rains, and we've never
You'll
had
say we tested
standing
it
water. We had
all.
mud,
That's good.
we've had a lot of mud,
Lots of mud.
but no standing water to speak of.
That's good.
So
No, the
Kudos to
drainage
the-
is-
engineers
yeah.
that designed the drainage system.
Well, you know, you'd like that
Biggs
landscape.
and Matthews,
You
which
know
is.
something I
your
noticed?
local-
Yeah, yeah.
Coming in from, our meeting last week, and you just, you know, driving by, it's an impressive building, and the landscape really needs to be up to that standard, but it's impressive when you drive by that. It
And
looks
pretty
good.
much what we've asked is from the doors east, it really needs to be landscaped well. From the
Yeah.
doors west, we can be a little more sparse, because
Sure.
it's just parking, there's not a lot of flow through traffic. But from the doors east, it needs to look good.
It is an impressive facility, it really
Yeah,
is, when
and
you just
it's-
drive by.
And
Less
now
than
that you can
impressive.
start to see some of the memorial going in and
Yeah.
the forms and everything, the memorial are going in, it pulls all of that together so much, that landscaping will.
Yeah.
If it's done correctly, which we'll keep on.
It's always a battle. unfortunately. In other news, they're working on the elevator project at the annex. The front entrance is closed off. Also, the other front entrance is closed off because we're finally getting our second set of doors installed. We should finish that by Wednesday afternoon with the doors and a temporary walk-off carpet. So, yeah, all these things are starting to happen quickly. Parsons was supposed to be here last week, but they did not show up. I need to get with them and see where they're at.
The signs are up.
Signs are all up. I know what, they told me that since all the material's custom made for each building, they're having some supply issues with the material. But they were supposed to start last week. I guess that's all I have.
Good. Anyone else in the audience, anything to bring up? Chief, how did the chili deal go?
I understand it went well. I did not attend. I was doing some other things that afternoon at the LEC. But I understand it did crowd and went very well.
What did it look like?
It looked well put together, Will.
It
Bill
wasn't
Nolan
as,
does a good job on that, so.
it wasn't as heavily attended as in years past, but that's understandable.
Sure.
It was still a successful event. There was some good chili, there was some not so good chili. I had heartburn Saturday night.
There's a fine line there between the two.
I was glad the last chili I ate was the last chili I ate. I don't think I could have tasted it more after that one.
All right. Mr. Beecham?
Other than what I just reported about the chili cook-off, I really had nothing else.
Okay. Mr. Finnegan?
I have nothing.
Mr. Wallace?
We had a good conference last week, College Station. There was some good information, and you know, you go and you look at some of those topics, sometimes you think, oh, I've already been to that, and I know it, but things change. We live in a dynamic society, rules change, and approaches change, and I really brought a lot. I got a lot out of several of those sessions that are pending, and of course, the legislative session really just about to begin to roll, and there are lots of things to be watching out for in that over the next few months, and I'm sure we'd like to be involved in some of that. But just well done, the conference was well done, it was well managed as always, and that facility down there, I had never been around to the back of it. That thing is huge. You know, we had been in the front meeting room part of it before. That's it's the Brazos County Expo Center, I believe. My goodness, that thing's big. But it's got a full, you know, livestock facility in the back of it and all. I just drove around it one afternoon and looked at the back of it. Pretty impressive. Other than that, I got my shot Friday and want to compliment the people that it was very well done. I don't know who all was involved. United Regional was out there manning the deal. It was, I mean, just quick and
And it was
slick.
drive-through.
Drive-through, and I mean, it just took no time at all. Very well organized. The only complaint I had, I didn't get a lollipop. You always count on that. But I would encourage everybody, and I know it's a personal decision, whether you're gonna take that thing or not, but I took it, just quick and well done, and I guarantee you, if they will get that medicine to us, we got people here in Wichita County can get it done. We can get that inoculation deal done, we can get it done quick. But congratulations to the folks involved in that, just extremely well managed. And you go through, you sign your name, you get your shot, they pull you over in the parking lot, and they say, wait 15 minutes, if you have a problem, honk your horn, we'll get you some attention, and I mean, and then you're gone. So it's a nice experience, and hopefully we can, like I say, if they'll bring us the stuff, we got people who can get it done, and that's what we're waiting on, so good experience. Anyway, other than that, just, oh, one thing for Friday. We got that email about dividing up that administration fee on our grant, our road grant deal, and they want us to, and we need to really talk about that because, and that's not a bad idea, but we know that list will change some as we go along, so we're gonna have to be very careful about making sure that all gets addressed. We can talk about that Friday in our session, no. and how we can handle it.
I think, Commissioner, we need to probably go ahead and make a game plan as to when we want to pull that milling machine in here so we can get on the
We sure do.
books.
We sure do. And because that's gonna be tied to that in a lot of different ways, we need to manage that, but anyway, let's put that up for discussion on Friday, and we'll sort through that, make sure we've got it covered. That's it, Judge, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judge, we've been going to Cooperton, which is south of Hobart, north of Snyder, Frederick area, up there to the DeLisi Quarry to pull in 5/8 from here. It's a new avenue for us to go. We haven't been there, not in my tenure or for quite some time, I think, but that has been proceeding well. We've made good progress. All of the 3/8 chip is at 4. We're working on the 5/8 and then we'll move to 3, I guess. So everything has gone relatively smooth,
How
so.
long does it take to make a trip to Cooperton?
Well, it's just a slight bit longer than the Graham deal. It's about 2.5 hour round. So, yes, that's getting loaded and everything. We can, they seem to get faster every day, every time they go. So they get more accustomed. I think the people are accustomed to loading them as well, so. And Mark, I guess you'll let us know when we need to pull up and.
I was just gonna say, thank you for y'all out there helping me today on
They're
Bradley
hauling
Ranch,
right
so.
We've got a blade on site, and they're gonna get that knocked
I
out.
should be able to
Good.
haul everything today and blade it off over the next couple of days.
Good.
It won't finish the road, but it'll give us
Good
pretty good
footprint
section
there,
of it, so.
yeah.
Anybody else feel like you're in the dentist office?
I want to also comment on the efforts of Judge Judy Baker to go above and beyond. Last week, I had got notified that there was a bomb threat in Electra at a school, and Judge Judy got called in to go to the school. And, you know, that's getting right in the middle of things when you have to do that, not knowing exactly what the situation is. And they wanted her up there, and she had no qualms about going and being in the middle of everything and dealing with some individuals that needed to be dealt with. And so my hat's off to her, because that's always a tough situation in the day and time we live in. We never know what could occur out of the clear blue. So thank goodness that resolved itself promptly. But I just want to thank her for being brave and not having issue with that. She just met the challenge head on, so. And reiterate what the judge said, I'm afraid it's gonna get cold on us before it gets better.
We do have this afternoon, we'll adjourn from this meeting here in just a moment, and we'll reconvene at 1:30. And that will be a closed session, briefing through the sheriff's department on security measures, kind of the active shooter concept, just to make sure that we have a good feel for how that should take place. And of course, every one of those, no matter what you plan, every one of them are different, but planning helps you put things together
Right.
ahead of time.
And Judge, I want to thank Nancy and Joyce being very proactive. They met that challenge head on, and they were very glad to get in the middle of that, so.
I just think that quick draw stuff they were doing.
Nancy scared me. She dropped the pistol a few times.
This is a military veteran you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The other thing is, Ms. Ramsey and I both are involved in this, University Kiwanis Club. The playground project is moving along well. They have got the primary funding that is raised and in place, And it's supposed to schedule to have the opening of it on March the 27th, which is a Saturday. And that will happen about 8:30 in the morning, I think it's 9. Okay, and then, starting at 10, you could drive through and get a box of pancake batter that we use for that, and buy sausage. And I'm sure there will be no cooking there, but you have to order in advance. It's available on the University of Kiwanis website. Do that, but it's some of that great sausage that we get from Hatcher Poultry. And
There's a variety of box sizes. You can order a little or a lot, but it does have to be pre-ordered by March 4th?
something like that, yeah.
It's March 4th, yeah, because the city is not actually going to let us do any sales in the park. We can only deliver, so all sales has to be done prior to online. So we'll maintain our 67th annual pancake festival of sorts.
Virtual
It's a
pancake
DIY,
festival.
do it yourself, DIY.
You'll be able to drive through out there, go see, be there for the dedication of it, and then, have pancakes and so,
Jeff,
or the mix.
I'm sorry, what time will that start?
9 o'clock for the dedication and 10 o'clock for the drive-through, or as soon as we get everybody rounded up
Yeah.
off of that, from the dedication, but 10 o'clock is the target time.
And you said by March 4th,
I'm pretty sure it's March 4th is the cutoff for pre-sales
and where do you go to order that?
on the Kiwanis website,
University of Kiwanis.
University of Kiwanis website. I'll send you that link if you would like for me to when I get back to the
Yeah,
office.
I'll put it in the minutes that go out to
Okay.
everybody.
Anything else?
I did have one other
Yes, sir.
question for Will. It's a question I asked you yesterday, I called you about.
Okay.
We have a deputy that is circulating a request for funding for a drug dog.
I
Can you
don't know
explain?
if per se she is doing that. but we
Okay,
are
somebody is on her behalf.
actively looking for donations for another dog
Yeah.
for our department, our office. And, I think there's a GoFundMe fund account set up for that. We've always, I think, believed in the past, we bottom off donations. We haven't used, county money for that, so I think that's what Mark was asking.
Yeah, I had several, it approached me over the weekend if that was a legitimate fundraiser.
Yes.
And I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that that is a legitimate fundraiser for a dog, that it's not something that's going on nefariously.
Yeah,
Is there any approach made to the 100 Club?
not this time, there has not been, no, sir. In the past, we've had some pretty big donors that's pretty much given the majority of the money to the dogs. So we're actively looking to add a fourth dog to the other ones. Not only to the fleet, but,
That's all, I just,
Good enough, good deal. All right, it is 11:19, and we adjourn.
Hello? Hello?